So Audit New Zealand is a business arm of the Controller and Auditor General. Now the Controller and Auditor General is an independent officer of Parliament, responsible for auditing 3,500 public sector entities, of which 2,500 are schools, and we don't audit any of them. Of the last 1,000, we audit about 600, and there's a slide coming up in regards to which ones. So it's a range of sectors, a range of sizes from, very small, what we call box audits, through to the likes of IRD, MSD, Auckland City Council. What do? We audit them. But not only do we audit the financial information, which is what most firms do, we also audit the performance information. From what everybody says, that's what makes it exciting, more interesting, more variety. The performance information comes in the way of what the clients say in their reports. So at councils, it could be roads repaired or amount of water treated. For a DHB or a hospital, it might be wait times at emergency, or it could be vaccination rates. So not only will you see the finance team when you're doing the audit, you will see multiple people in multiple different areas around the client. Where are we? So 7 offices throughout New Zealand. Largest one is Wellington, and therefore we're looking for the most grads in Wellington, looking for 40 grads and 14 interns throughout the country. And we are all one. So while we have 7 different offices, we are all employees of the Controller and Auditor General. So you will have 40 people that are going through the grad program with you through the CA program. So there's usually 2 years worth of people going through the CA papers, CA modules together. So again, lots of support with that. Auckland being the second biggest, and having 3 universities up there, we do tend to get the most applications for. So if you don't have your heart set on Auckland, I would advise applying as the office of first preference for some of the other locations. And then you see down the bottom, we've got the Office of the Auditor General and Corporate Services. So they're the other business arm of the Controller and Auditor General. So what do we do? I said a range of audits, a range of sectors. So you can see from that slide, there's ones that are profit orientated versus public benefit orientated. There's ones that have lots of assets. There's ones that have very few assets. We also audit Niue and Tokelau, but the variety is incredible, which gives you amazing opportunities to learn different things, deal with different people, see behind the scenes at many public sector entities. With a large audit, you might be looking after one section. With a smaller audit, you might be looking after multiple sections. So you will start with the easier sections in your first year and build on that. Caitlin, what would you say would be the best part of working at Audit New Zealand or with the clients?
Hi, so I'm Caitlin. I'm one of the intermediate auditors from the Auckland office. So I started as a grad last year. And in my experience, it's absolutely been the people that you work with. We just have great teams. Sandy said it before that auditing is a team sport, and it really is. And how you do your learning as a graduate is in your team with people senior to you who've been through the same process. They might have come in the year before, a couple of years before. And yeah, everyone's just got a wealth of experience, both in public sector and in auditing in general. And yeah, it's just the opportunity to learn from everyone that you work with. It's the best part.
Nice, thank you. So talking about vision, so why are we here? Well, basically we are here to improve the trust and promote value of the public sector. So you as fee-paying students are contributing to the revenue of the tertiary that you're at. whether you're buying things, you're contributing to GST, all that money is going somewhere, whether it's, you know, rates, everything. What we do is make sure that that money is accounted for, but also how it is spent. So ensure that it's spent well and used well to give the best outcome for New Zealand. So we're really here to make New Zealand a better place to live and to work. You know, we're not here to support the partners. We don't have partners. We have audit directors who sign the audit opinions on behalf of the Auditor General, but they don't own the business. You know, we're not that way structured. The values. Auditing is a people business, it's a team sport. And so, yeah, people matter is our first value. And being part of the people and capability team, you know, I look after the recruitment. So I see all the people that come through the doors to apply, to get interviews, to work for Audit New Zealand. It's a real honour. People come with a passion. You know, we're not here to make money. We're here for, you know, better motives. It's the learning. It's the feel good about doing something well. It's feeling supported with the study. You know, yes, we pay for all the CA program, the masterclass, all that sort of thing. You get 3 days study leave for your modules. But because we also have toil, which is time off in lieu, when you work extra hours, you get extra hours off. Most people take, you know, an extra few days before exams and the assignments are due to, you know, perfect them, do well in them. So it's all about the people. And yes, it has been more difficult in the last 2 years. So there's all sorts of extra programs developed by our capability and culture team to support the staff, but also support the managers and mentors, support the staff. IT has done amazing work with things behind the scenes to make sure everything works wonderfully. And there's also been new technology, new software dashboard implemented, which makes it easier to do the audits. Also means we don't have to travel as much because each office does have some travel to go out to the clients. Our independence is critical. Well, without independence, you're not going to believe what the auditors say. So we can't work on, you as an individual can't work on an audit that your parent or sibling is working the finance team at. You also, in certain roles, can't own shares in public sector entities because we have access to that inside information. We don't want to be anywhere near those audits or own shares in those entities. We act with integrity and courage. The Auditor General always says, you know, I can't sign 3,500 audits, do all the work. I get others to do that. So you represent me when you're out at the client site, which means you've got to act with the integrity of the Auditor General, who is independent from Parliament. But you also, you've got to have the courage to deliver the difficult messages, to ask the challenging questions, because that's how you find out what's really happening at the clients. And we're here to make a difference. Well, that's the major point. You know, we're here to make a difference to New Zealand. It's not all about making money. It's here about making New Zealand. What are we looking for? Grads and interns. So the interns need to be in their penultimate year, so second to last year of study to meet the academic requirements for chartered accountants, and graduates need to be in their last year. So graduates need to be finished by February next year, all their academic requirements. What are we looking for? People that are people, good communication skills, good team skills, reasonable academic marks, reasonable GPA. I would generally look for a B- GPA. Reason it's not lower is we find they will struggle with the CA program. In saying that, yes, we have people that have a lower GPA, and you'll often find that they started doing some other major and then, found their love of accounting and did an accounting major. So they may have got low marks initially, whether it be science or something else, and then, find their calling. A whole wide range of people. Yes, we take international students, people, second careers, the whole range. It's more about you as a person, your team skills, your communication skills, your ability to just get on and do it, ability to understand, have that critical thinking, the quick thinking, being able to see some information, look at it, understand it, ask a few questions, and have an opinion on it. Anything else you want to add to that, Caitlin? As someone who's on an audit, what do you look for in team members?
Yeah, I think you've covered it pretty well. It's definitely communication. You've got to communicate with your team, but also with your clients. And yeah, I think critical thinking is the other. That's a great one. You really hone your professional judgment as you get more experience. It's being able to pick up a client's work paper, work back to see what they've done, understand it, and then figure out what do we need to do to get some assurance over this. And it's different for every job. There's different clients. Different account balances you'll be auditing. And it's just learning that approach and being able to think on your feet and adapt.
Nice. What happens next? For those that haven't already applied, our applications close on this Saturday 7 p.m. So go to our website, apply online, either through the internship button there or the graduate button. You will be taken to an application portal, asked to complete an application form, attach your CV cover letter, and make sure your cover letter is tailored to us rather than someone, saying that you want to be the next partner and I'm going to bring you the most money, which we often get and think, oh no, that's not our sort of cover letter. So do your research, tailor your cover letter to us. And a tip on that would be, make sure that you save your cover letter as your name, cover letter, Audit New Zealand, so that you attach the right one. And then you will also get to attach your transcript, or you can type it in, but it's usually easier to attach it. There is 2 questions that I really like to look at, so focus on them, and that is, why should we employ you and what are your achievements? Tell us about your achievements. They can be university achievements, sporting achievements, religious, family, you name it. It can be anything. What you see as an achievement gives that more personality, more solid understanding of who you are. So focus on that one as well. But get someone to read your CV and cover letter to make sure it doesn't have any errors. Great attention to detail is what we're looking for. There's nothing worse than lots of errors. I personally don't mind whether you use American spelling or English spelling, but just make sure it's the same all the way through. There's nothing worse than a word being spelt with a Z sometimes and an S in other times. The other part of the process, so once that's all complete, I will send you an email that'll have 2 links. One is to do an online assessment, which will take about an hour. Top tip would be, read the question, understand the question, and whatever comes to your mind first is most likely the best answer. Yes, there's some timed sections and some untimed sections, so you need to manage your own time. But in general, on average, people take an hour. Yes, you can do some practice for parts of it in regards to numerical reasoning and verbal reasoning, but the personality side of things, no, read the question, understand the question, and whatever comes to mind first is probably the best, because you'll find that the impression management software behind the scenes will lower your score if you try to guess what we're looking for or guess what it's looking for. The other link is to do a video introduction. Again, nothing scary. There's 4 quick questions, up to 90 seconds each, and things like, tell us about yourself. Why do you want to work for Audit New Zealand? What do you think the biggest challenge will be? And anything else you want to tell us. So it's not difficult stuff. Look at the camera. We're going to be behind the camera. Smile, pretend that camera's us. It's your opportunity to sell yourself, communicate. But also in preparing for that, remember, what's behind you. If you're not using a virtual background, just check that it's things that are appropriate. And speaking of appropriate, your email address or voicemail is probably also a good thing to review before you start applying for roles. What was funny when you're 14 may not be funny, now that you're applying for a professional job. Is it a professional email address? What else can I tell you? What else, Caitlin? Anything else that I know we're just about running out of time. We've got 2 minutes.
There's a couple of questions that came through, Sandy and Caitlin. There's quite a good one as well regarding any recommendations on certificates or trainings that they can take prior to applying to Audit New Zealand that will improve their chances.
I do look for things that are team-based or good communication. So if they think they're struggling and want more confidence, something like a Toastmasters is wonderful. But it may come down to, working in a hospo where they're, at McDonald's, where they have to work in a team, have to communicate with people, have to communicate with the actual McDonald's team versus the customers. It's looking for those opportunities. So again, it could be volunteering for a secondhand, a charity shop where they're doing good for the community, but also, learning to deal with people, work in teams, relying on other people. How long does the assessment interview process usually take? So assessments are due to be finished by 11 p.m. on Monday night. So applications close on Saturday night. You have until late on Monday to do the assessment and video interview. On Tuesday, I download everybody, sort, and then sort by officer first preference, then send all applications to the individual officers. They review it all, come back and say, these are the ones we want to look at. So then I contact people and tee up a interview and case study. In Wellington, it's going to be the 8th for grads and the 13th of April for interns, but somewhere around there for all the officers. It'll take about, in Wellington, it's the grad as a whole, well, sort of probably 5 hours where you come and do all sorts of activities with everybody. And the rest of the officers, it is a case study which takes about 40 minutes and then an interview which takes about 50 minutes. Again, prepping for the interview, know why you want to work for us, what we do, why we're different. Jot down, review interview questions and Google for interview questions, grad interview questions, and write down some examples so that when you come into the interview, you've got some examples that you've pre-thought for, the standard sort of questions. Caitlin, anything else you think?
I think you've covered it really well. Just come in professionally, present yourself as a person, and try and connect with what we do and why we do it. I think that's the best kind of background research you can do.
Yep, perfect. And have that flexibility, because while we got good news that the world's opening up, who knows what will happen by mid next month. So while some interviews and things will be in person, others will be virtual. So be flexible.
Perfect. Awesome. Oh, well, thanks, Sandy and Caitlin, for jumping on and sharing some good insiders into Audit New Zealand. It's a pleasure having you both.
Excellent. Thanks for having me.